Well, I bet you never thought you'd get another episode of YouTube Unsolved before GTA 6. But here we are. 6 years ago, there was a 7-minute video posted to this channel, revisiting the age-old myth of YouTube user 666, marking the end of that so-called mystery, and yet the beginning of YouTube Unsolved. And from then on, let's just say, it became quite a bit bigger than I imagined. So now, in 2026, after all the viewers submitted experiences, cursed numbers, future predictions, moon landings, death cults, time travel, it's time for another one. It wouldn't be the first time that we've looked into fan-submitted experiences and also tied them to something genuinely unsettling. YouTube has changed a lot over the years, going from a minimalistic, simple community to a broad-ranging platform of diverse culture, to now, the arguable decomposing of said culture into, well, what we see now. But one thing has reigned true through the rise and fall, and that would be the mysteries rooted beneath the surface. And there doesn't seem to be a more readily available portal to these endless unsolved aspects than the search bar. And even more unsettling, not even YouTube itself, but YouTube Kids. Today, that's what we're dealing with. And a precarious character going by the name Jim Styx. Quite possibly YouTube's most unhinged commenter. Out of all the cases I got the privilege of sifting through over the last multiple years of planning the next issue of this series, one just happened to stand out. And we're not talking about an edgy analog horror video, we're delving into the real-life events experienced by Danny, going by the screen name of Scrupulous Tulip, in her subsequent emails to me. Danny is a single mom with 2 children and coincidentally a fan of, well, true crime, but also YouTube Unsolved. Well, this all starts normally. So, where do I begin? I guess this feels kind of like a blur at this point, so I'll get to the basics. I'm a single parent. Long story, living in Boston. Having 2 little ones to take care of has put me through a lot over the past couple of years, but I'm not here to ramble. My favorite outlet has always been YouTube, and similarly, I've allowed that to be passed down to my kids. I guess it's something that felt so natural to me, handling chores around the house, keeping my youngest occupied, and handling work. I started letting the online world entertain my oldest, of course, with supervision. I wasn't about to let my children become some of those phone-obsessed zombies I'm so sad to see more and more of with this endless supply of, well, slop. But again, I emphasize that I'm susceptible to it too. Fortunately, I work from home, so I spend my day balancing care for my newborn and allowing some on and off screen time for my oldest after all of his chores and homework is done. Nothing about this setup at any point seemed problematic to me. It was work. It was stress, but everything felt just okay. This was the first of a series of emails detailing the events that took place from August 10th, 2023 to pretty much the end of the year. Of all things described, I should advise, it gets quite off-putting. So, this being live, I guess, could you tell me overall your best recanting of what happened first? And if we still got time, we'll go from there.
That works for me. I guess I'll just say to clarify that I'm not really an open person, so it took me a long time to just sit down and write, everything. So I guess I should mention the videos first, because I've had this YouTube account, and then I have a kids account specifically for. So what I would do is unwind after work, read, have the smart TV with my account on there, and I started noticing these just bizarre recommended videos on the YouTube homepage, and I couldn't tell you what they even were. Like, every day I would see these indescribable, like, horror, weird video gibberish titles, and it was, recommending them to, watch again. Like, this homepage was just nothing but these videos. And so I thought, okay, like, is he somehow getting into my account? Like, this stuff is not appropriate for anyone his age. I mean, I don't even understand what it is. I signed out, and so I was checking to see if he had switched the account somehow, but it was still set to his.
So this is the YouTube Kids account?
Yes, exactly.
It was the end of the day, I remember. I was on my laptop finishing up work, and I got a friend request notification. I had Facebook in the background, and this person, named Mel, was trying to be friends. I don't know a Mel, so I closed the tab. Finishing up the work I did that evening, everything else went as usual. I was buzzed from the coffee, and not possibly going to bed for a while, so I grabbed my tablet and put it to the side with my laptop while I switched on the TV to hopefully find something boring enough to force me to sleep. I had the TV on low brightness, and I noticed the tablet lighting up in the corner of the room. It wasn't really stopping, so I went over to turn the thing off. Here were a bunch of notifications from the YouTube app. Jim Sticks replied to you on YouTube. Jim Sticks replied to your comment. You have 9 unread notifications. I turned the thing off, and that was the end of it. For that night.
I was right in the middle of this big project, so I was spending many nights just doing the same thing. I ended up turning on YouTube, trying to fall asleep. But now, the homepage started to change again. And there were these red bars on the videos, right?
Saying you've already watched?
Yeah, right.
Oh.
I don't know. It was just weird because now these videos, well, first of all, yeah, like, it's not like I'm using this account that much. I don't watch anything, but, it started becoming not these gibberish videos anymore, but stuff like videos on knives and guns, even like tutorials on how to pick locks and remove window screens.
Oh, wow.
Things like that.
Danny would notice the YouTube homepage changing sporadically over the next multiple weeks, often showing videos in the history section that she never watched. This was about the point when the emails started coming in. At first, they were negligible, almost unnoticeable. One of my coworkers messaging me about having left the Excel sheet we were working on shared publicly. It literally was not. An email from my neighbor saying I left the porch light on all day. The principal of the school announcing that it would be a snow day tomorrow. All of these came from an AOL address.
So I made a call to the school saying, I got this email. I just wanted to know, like, I have to arrange my schedule in advance. And they were like, there wasn't an email. So they're like, oh, we think you should double check to make sure. And I'm like,
wow.
Like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I did. Like, my next door neighbor isn't gonna shoot me an email about my patio light.
Yeah.
Like, I just didn't even have any time to be handling this. I have to go into my office pretty much all next week, so I already have to change my schedule. So I get my babysitter for the whole week, and
What about time frame? Would you say?
Maybe like around early October.
It was around then that I hired my usual babysitter throughout the day, as I had to go in person to work that week. And it was on that Wednesday that I was called by the babysitter in the middle of the day. She had told me that she had ran to the store with the kids real quick to grab snacks, but had gotten a flat tire on the way back and was stranded. The sentences didn't make any sense. I told her there had been plenty of snacks at the house, and living in the outskirts of Boston, there's no shortcut to the supermarket, especially in a snow season. I asked why she felt the need to do that, but then she ignored my question and simply asked if I can come meet her and drive the kids back home. It was sub-freezing outside, and no way was it a possibility to stick around in that. The situation was so aggravating. Never had I had a problem with this babysitter, and the 1 week I have these responsibilities, I have to deal with this happening now. I asked her where she was and took the break time to go drive out there. Looked like the side of a road on some part of town. The roads were iced, but recently cleared. Within 5 minutes of getting there, I called the babysitter again and asked whereabouts was the car parked, and she gave this flat reply that didn't sound like an answer, just something like, "We're in here." I had her on the phone while I frustratingly maneuvered around the spots of leftover snow and ice, while I approached the area of indistinct warehouses and garage buildings before I pulled over and asked again. This time, she replied, but it was the exact sentence she had said earlier. Not like a reiteration, but more like a literal looped recording. "We're at the corner of Xander and Melrose, hoping you can come by? I have the kids with me." I said her name to the phone, and she replied yes. "Where the hell are you?" It was starting to snow again, and I was either going to make it back to the office or back home, but not both at this rate. And again, after a few seconds, "We're at the corner of Xander and Melrose, hoping you can come by? I have the kids with me." I hung up. There was literally not a car in sight on the road, and nothing on both sides but warehouses. I called my boss and reported that I would be late getting back to shift. By the time I got there, the snow was coming down like white dust, and the babysitter's car was not in the driveway. I hurriedly parked and got to the door, quickly opening it to find the house empty, until I found my oldest in the living room, playing some driving game on the Xbox. My toddler was asleep, as he should have been. My oldest was scared of me catching him playing video games before homework, but I only then realized my heart was essentially jumping. I asked, "Where did the babysitter go?" He said she left sometime earlier in the morning.
Did she say anything to you? I was like all confused about why I'm even asking. Okay, so here I am, realizing my kids were basically at home for like 3 hours. I'm getting calls from my boss that I'm not answering. I call again, and this time she answered normally.
By then, I was furious. I demanded to know why the hell she had left my kids alone. But this is where things started feeling really, really wrong. She told me she left because I told her I was coming back. I asked what she was talking about and what the deal was about the calls we had earlier, but she insisted the only call she got from me was telling her that I was coming back early and that she could leave. I stood there silently, dumbstruck even. I only wish I somehow had a recording of those calls. If I could hear them now, I would surely realize just how incredibly wrong the situation was. I had told my boss about what happened, and luckily got permission to complete the rest of the project at home that week. I was completing one of the milestone tasks late one of the nights that should have been completed the day I ditched work. So, I was cramming it into one nearly overnight session. I had my coffee and YouTube TV in the background. At about 12:03, I noticed a specific sound that was just barely loud enough to register. I ignored it, but it repeated. There were 3 knocks on the front door. They were so faint, had I not been sitting on the couch literally 10 feet from the door, surely I would not have heard it. I went to go check. Through the peephole, I saw a figure on the other side, facing away. It was a man, presumably, with some kind of coat, but it was far too dark to make out the details. We have a motion detector light on the porch, but it was off. I wasn't about to open the door to some jack-off in the middle of the night, so I returned to the couch to get back to work. As unconventional as it may sound, we have passerbys around here that get stranded all the time when there's a snowstorm. But there's plenty more houses nearby who can help out. As bad as it sounds, I just don't have anything to offer. I got back to my coffee and blanket, and found a couple new phone notifications. 3 missed calls from... and a voicemail. Hey, so sorry, but I think I left my purse at your place. I'm at the door. Could you open up? It's freezing out here. I got up again to check the peephole, and this time, the light was on, and the porch was empty. I blocked the babysitter's number. That morning, I got up, checked on the kids, started breakfast. I went out to get the mail, and saw these tracks in the snow, like a literal cheesy horror movie, walking up to the door. They were faint, having mostly been filled in by the rest of the night's snowfall, but they didn't go back off the porch. They just went around the fucking house. I put on my shoes and followed them. They led around back, stopping at Buster's window. The trail just ended there. This time, school really was out for the day, so I stayed home with my kids, alone. This was the last email sent by Danny for a period of a couple months. The only final email to follow would detail the events of mid-December, the last act of what would be the most unjolly holiday season she would ever experience. Now, could you tell me basically how you found the comments? And, well, essentially how this ties into the things that happened.
I mean, it wasn't one, specific thing that made it click. It had to have been the day, literally right after I had come home from the store. I had my groceries in hand, and I saw was playing on the iPad in the living room, like he knows specifically he's not supposed to do. And I saw he was watching this just bizarre looking video, like one of those, I can't even remember what you called it. Anyway, I took the thing from him, but he gave me some attitude about it. I told him he needed to stop. This video just kept playing. It was like these badly edited clips of graphic, just real life gore, some just awful thing. I didn't even think it was some movie or something, and there's this distorted music the whole time. So I turned it off.
And this was the account signed in on YouTube Kids.
It was.
And I asked, "Why are you watching this? Why are you watching this?" He said, "My friend sent it." "What friend?" He said, "Jim." I closed out of the video and locked the tablet in my room for the rest of the day. I had to take care of my youngest and was simply despondent for the rest of the day. It's not like I had disciplined him. I brushed it off until later, when I was actually using the iPad for work. I looked through the search history, and over the course of many weeks, there were these random emoji and text gibberish searches made on YouTube, none of which by me. And on YouTube, I looked at my own account history, and there were apparently dozens of notifications. That's what those emails I was getting before were. Every single one of them. "Jim Sticks replied to your comment. Jim Sticks replied to your comment. Jim Sticks replied to your comment." Clicking on most of the emails led to apparently removed videos, but one linked back to a video on regular YouTube. I guess it was some TikTok compilation, and there was this long reply thread under the video starting out with a comment made by my account that was simply 2 laughing emojis. Below this, some account named Jim Sticks responded, "What was your favorite part?" There was this long drawn-out series of replies going all the way down over the course of multiple weeks, all being replies I'm only assuming I'd made, somehow, using my account. This Jim individual proceeded to basically interrogate me. "What's your favorite color? What grade are you in? What's your favorite video to watch? Do you have a best friend? Who's your favorite teacher? I love video games. What's your favorite game? What is your mom's name?" Eventually, my account stopped replying in the thread, and Jim kept commenting for several weeks until the reply chain ended. "Did you see me?" His full name. Our house address. "Can you come to the door? I'm knocking." Attached are the screenshots of the reply I took from my iPad. I don't have any other info on who was responsible for this, but I did tip this to my local police, and so far, there has been no update from them. The last email from Danny concluded with the addition of the mentioned screenshots, leaving the implication of these experiences not without some kind of documentation, but still wholly unresolved. Taking into consideration everything that happened, and through extensive contact with Danny, we've come to a general conclusion, however, one which, nonetheless, brings us back to the days of old. Upon doing some digging, I was able to find an actual Jim Sticks account, but unfortunately, the username seems to belong to somebody else. Either that, or the profile picture has been changed at some point. However, there was another account found that has this exact same profile picture of this crudely drawn face, and with a lot of subscribers along with it. That being said, there's no real evidence confirming its ties with the real-life events Danny experienced. Based on the comments themselves, the actual evidence might give us some hints as to just what went down. The main question is not just who is Jim Sticks, but who was engaging in this comment thread. Assuming it was Danny's oldest son, it raises the obvious next suspicion. Who showed up that night at 12:03? Glancing at the thread history, it becomes apparent that Jim seemed to share certain search terms and funny phrases intended for to search on YouTube Kids. These terms seem to be emojis foreign text symbols, and even web dings, seemingly translated to not much of anything. Of course, on YouTube Kids, there is no comment section. So, it's only anyone's guess what videos or results showed up under these terms. As per Danny's account, most of the email notifications of Jim Stick's replies led to deleted videos. It might seem that somehow, through watching these videos, perhaps even uploaded by Jim Sticks, some information was gained through Danny's accounts, maybe through some form of exploit. Either way, just the act of videos of gore existing freely on the kids app of YouTube was obviously enough to cause concern. And the search terms themselves, for example the ones I've copied and pasted on regular YouTube, seem to lead to no particular relevant videos, except a lot of videos on the kids side of YouTube. I'm assuming these search terms are somehow interlinked between YouTube Kids and YouTube Normal. No gore videos or Jim Sticks to be found. The aspect, however, that really sheds some light is who exactly was Mel. The name of the Facebook friend request is telling, not just because of multiple other aligning details, but because the name also matches the username of the account still around to this day on YouTube, with the same profile picture. And when scanning Wayback Machine for all the past instances of this picture, I come to a Facebook account which has since been suspended, but looks to show somebody's full name, first name Mel, and doing a further search into this person's identity, it's unclear any association they may have with Jim Sticks. But we just might have a solid, albeit disconcerting, lead. The phone incident was another intriguing turn. Both Danny and the babysitter reported receiving calls from one another. Of course, their exact number, contact, and voice at precisely the same time that snowy day. Moreover, as prescient as this event was, the voiceover that later was left on Danny's phone, which we can't play due to the sake of not revealing someone's voice not even involved in the situation, ultimately proves that whoever was behind those multiple phone calls was certainly capable of some decently advanced technical skills, and honestly to me, felt like the most unsettling element of this story. VoIP technology can theoretically spoof a phone number, but since we have no recordings of the calls themselves, it just may have to be left at speculation. We might never find out the true identity of Jim, but similar to other instances of YouTube mysteries in the past, it might be better off if it stays that way. Thanks for watching YouTube Unsolved.